What up? Welcome to Homegrown Hustle, where local brilliance takes the center stage. I'm your host, Matt Eichmann. Join us every week in celebrating innovation, guidance, and the power to inspire greatness. Let's explore the stories that shape our local business landscape, and together, let's ignite the spark of excellence.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Homegrown Hustle. I'm here with a special episode. We've got a couple of professors in the room. I've got Dr. Brad Canham. He's a professor over at the University of St. Thomas teaching entrepreneurship, and he brought a few of his special guests along. They just finished up a big project, and we had some judges. Was it a Shark Tank type of vibe?
Yeah, they were the celebrity judges.
So we'll get into that in a little bit, but before we do that, Dr. Brad, do you want to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about who we have with us here today?
Sure, yeah, Dr. Brad, that's, what I get referred to. And I do, when I start classes, I basically give my students the chance to kind of address me as they feel comfortable, but also to set a business context to the conversation. So I am Dr. Brad or Professor Canham or something like that, just to get them kind of used to some of that, what you do run into in business, some of that formal stuff, until somebody says, yeah, you can call me, hey you, that's fine. But I'm not hey.
They're not like giving you nicknames like B-Money or
no, but later in the class that would be fine. Yeah, give me a couple of weeks. I'm like, yeah, I'll be B-Money. That's fine. So I've got Simon Goodmanson. So Simon and I just met literally a couple of weeks ago. Last week. He reached out like good entrepreneurs do and was networking. He's got a compelling product idea and a team that's scaling ScaleByte. Is that right?
ScaleByte. Scaled and BYTE. So kind of like a terabyte or a gigabyte. Scale comes from scaling businesses and ideas into something, and the byte comes from like the software platform, the development of the technology, all that kind of stuff. So
cool. I love it. We really connected because I've got my own interest in scaling entrepreneurial ecosystems, and his product and his team is developing an online version of that, so that we really synced. Glad that you're here as a celebrity judge. And also, Sierra Canham is my daughter and was also a celebrity judge for the student projects this morning at St. Thomas. We went through 10 of them. They were amazing. And Sierra is the founder of St. Lucie Serum, which is part of the, help me out here. Why don't you go ahead and tell me more about that?
Yeah, so I started St. Lucie Sauna Serum. I have a little bit of a sample here. So it's a hair and skin oil that you use during your sauna session. It helps elevate the session, right? It's really rooted in Nordic tradition, and we have scaled it to 15 states and one international retailer. And yeah, the sauna market is just like exploding, and it's been awesome. But you have been very, very helpful to me throughout that process. So yeah,
it's good to be dad. It's good to be Professor
I
Dad.
call him Brad the Dad.
Yeah, Brad the Dad.
The new term, the Swiss Army knife of dads, is what I hear he really is.
Yeah,
yes.
Sure.
And so we were connected through a mutual friend, Patrick Donahue. He's got another great platform over there, but the connection was really made around the Entrepreneur Jubilee, which is a unique event that you created. Could you tell me a little bit about like where that came from? What were the thoughts that really kind of sparked that whole idea?
Sure. Yeah. And Patrick Donahue is part of what is the entrepreneurial ecosystem, right? So he, as the CEO of Hill Capital Corporation, a VC investor group, and their philosophy is they do a lot of kind of loan note structures that are designed to help kind of family-oriented businesses grow and scale over long periods of time. So it's much different than some of the, the VC activity on the coasts.
We got Patrick coming on the pod in a few weeks.
Okay. So that philosophy to me is very Midwestern. It's like we're not going to just grow a company and then...
It's not PE, but it's kind of PE.
Right.
It's one of the more unique financing models that I've seen for business growth.
Yeah.
It's not like typical bank notes and lines and stuff like that, and you're not giving up a whole bunch of equity to essentially not be the boss anymore and have somebody tell you what you have to do.
Exactly.
It's like it's incredibly unique, and it's its own podcast altogether. But,
Right.
So the two of you got connected. However you got connected.
Well, I mean, so
You
we
probably go way back.
Yeah, we kind of go way back, but where we sync up, philosophically, or at least our vision of what's important in entrepreneurship is, this Midwestern version of entrepreneurship isn't all about like, hey, we want to disrupt the world and or a particular market and make $1 million and, go own an island someplace. It is much more grounded in, let's say, an ethical view, people-centered view, entrepreneurs as parts of community and not just disruptors of community.
It's more than just make money. It's
way more than just make money.
People that are making the money and what their lives are like.
Yeah. So that was part of the Entrepreneur Jubilee, is that we had this outdoor event in Eden Prairie. We had 54 exhibitors. We had 11 sponsors, corporate sponsors, Home Depot, Costco, BMO Bank. I mean, there were a bunch. Local businesses, Woodhouse Spa, I think. Anyhow, and they all saw this similar vision, which was, I'm going to have a bunch of first-time entrepreneurs. Your exhibit space is literally next to nothing, right? So we developed this concept as a nonprofit to help these people have a space to exhibit their stuff, show their stuff. And then I had 16 speakers who just spoke on one topic, prosperity. One topic.
I love that so much.
And it wasn't just, hey, prosperity is what you have in life. It's who do we want to become? Right? And so I had people from government, mental health, business, nonprofits, education, all over the place, all coming at this thing called prosperity from different directions. And I want to give this as a gift to the community and say, let's think about what prosperity could be for the future. And I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to give you a bunch of perspectives so that you can make your own choice. I want you to be empowered.
You're speaking to my soul right now, Dr. Brad. It's powerful. And this is the first year that you've done that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you going to do it again?
Yeah, it was, people loved it. We had enough money that it's set up for next year. And I was able to, at the end of it, I was asked to speak as part of this this thing that was happened to be on the solstice. And it was this group called Bildung. They're from Denmark, and they do this worldwide thing. And it's all about human thriving. They had different events around the world as the sun went around the world on the solstice, talking about, how are humans best able to thrive. And so I kind of gave a report after the event, after the Jubilee, and said, here's what I heard in the United States on this day. And, people worldwide were interested because they're very interested in, what's going on in the United States right now. And so I'm like, well, here's what we did. Here's this moment we carved out.
I'm pretty pissed that I wasn't there, actually.
Yeah, next year, man. Next year. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. The booths are like next to nothing, $25.
So you're the creator of that. You've created a few other things. You're not just a professor over here talking about all the books you've read and the theory. You've actually done it yourself, which for me, I was like, this guy's got to be a great business professor, because in my mind, sometimes and maybe this is just how St. Thomas does it, but sometimes a professor is really just they've spent a lot of time studying, and necessarily the real world experience might not be there. And maybe I'm just so far off, and I've never met enough business professors. But anyway, so tell me about the businesses that you've run and your experience early on in business, maybe. What was the first business you started or were part of?
Well, geez. So I've been working my whole life, right? So I sold Nightcrawlers when I was 13.
That's the best hustle time.
And they all crawled out of the little wash tub thing that I had down in the basement and died all over the...
Mom loved that.
Yeah, and so that was gross. But, entrepreneurial setbacks happen. And,
at any time, yeah. Sorry, Grandma Pat.
Sorry, Grandma Pat. But, gosh, yeah, I've always been doing stuff. had a business in the Twin Cities in the 1990s. We provided all the kind of retail demo people at Best Buy, CompUSA, Computer City, et cetera, who were at that time selling like Microsoft 95, all the software titles. I did all IBM stuff, Acer computers. I don't know. We did, and then that business.
That was your first business that you owned?
That was a business
formal, like LLC, like on the books.
Yes.
Nightcrawlers, I don't know if you're filing.
Yeah, no. Although I did have a work permit when I was 13. Yeah, but no, that was a more formal business in the 1990s after what I call the Bohemian period, which was most of my 20s into my 30s. I did a lot of things: improv, theater. I was a playwright.
Fascinating.
Was a reporter, all that kind of stuff. It was fun.
Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when he was a reporter.
Yeah.
That was when I was little.
Yes.
The Whittier Globe. Shout out the
The Whittier Globe.
Yeah.
The Marshall Independent. I was a daily hard news reporter, crime, mayhem, politics, all that kind of stuff.
But then eventually you were owning and running a company.
Yeah, we owned and ran that company with my brother, and then I had a bunch of subcontractors and some other folks, and we scaled that. It became a nationwide company. I had three other partners, and we covered the entire United States for launches of like Windows 95. Like that was one of our big projects. We had people in all the Best Buy stores. Yeah, you were just a little person at that time. And then, scaled that and grew that. But then I got, hired away into corporate America for a while.
Did you exit that company then?
That pretty much folded. We got surpassed by some companies who were doing the same thing, and our ability to charge, dropped. The prices started to drop. And there were some folks who had automated like the report process, and we didn't keep up. And then I was finishing my master's, and then I had corporate offers to work at telecommunication companies that were that was right as the .com boom was happening. And so I had, equity offers and big money. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go do that. Yeah.
Are you operating a business right now?
I am, yeah.
What is it?
Yeah, so my company is Market Vines. I provide both go-to-market and, scaling expertise for companies who are in complex spaces like AI, Internet of Things, and SaaS companies, because that's where I spent most of my, 30-year career. So I'm like, well, it's very complex, but here's some things I know about how to grow and scale.
So in your business, if I'm hearing you correctly, you're having anywhere from I've got this idea that I want to bring to market to we currently have something we're trying to scale, or
yes,
and then you're consulting with them and working through that with them.
Correct. Yeah. From very early on, I don't know what this is or whatever, to we make $10 million a year and we want to get to 20 million the next 18 months, things like that, and bigger companies also, or we need to go raise money, or I've done a fair amount of work in Silicon Valley, and so worked with companies that are Series D, funded a couple $100 million, things like that. Yeah.
So you've done a couple things. You've been a few places.
That's true.
Probably met a couple people.
Yeah.
So what made you decide to become a professor?
That's a great question, Matt. I mean, in part, I came from a small town, single mother, and I've been able to enjoy a fairly upward trajectory with both my income and lifestyle and capacity to have a family and make a comfortable life. And the core principle that has enabled me to do that, one of them is education. That, and I'm just ruthlessly persistent. Yeah. So, but education, and I thought, okay, I've got my master's. I like ideas. I'm a big reader, writer, all that kind of stuff. And I thought, maybe I can give.
Well, let's give this one a whirl.
Yeah. And, and I'm also, I get bored easily. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go be a professor now. Okay, we'll see what that's like. Yeah.
So what's it
love
been like?
I love it. I didn't know that you do fall in love with your students, not in a weird way.
It's important you threw that in there.
Let's be clear. But I do. I'm like, I just get so
Like that success, like vicariously through them, where you're seeing them progress. I think, I see the same thing with our team members when they come in and like all of a sudden 12 months down the line, they get to buy a home.
Right.
Or something like that
Yeah.
type of stuff where they're putting in the work, they're doing it, and you're there to support and guide a little bit, but
right.
they're like evolving in front of your eyes type of thing. I get it. I get how you can fall in love with that and
Yep.
like almost have like now you got 70 kids instead of Sierra.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Who's like 70? She's like 70 kids.
In a fun way.
Yeah, in the best way. So Sierra's been able to come with me, and we've gone on business trips to Europe a couple of times.
Yeah.
And so, and I like to do that. I have 2 other kids. Shout out to Jack and Alina. And Jack, I took to Las Vegas last year for his first business trip with Dad. I don't know if that was a good idea.
old is Jack?
He really
He liked
liked
it.
Las Vegas.
Yeah, he liked
Jack is, what is he now?
20.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he just turned 20.
I mean,
young guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Young
business trip
guy.
with dad in Vegas.
And,
like,
like,
how can that be fun?
Yeah,
Like,
CES, the biggest, consumer electronics show on the planet. So it was just madness. And, I was doing analyst work. And so I was getting invited to all kinds of these big parties. I'm like, come on, Jack.
Yeah.
And they're like, who's he? I'm like, yeah, he's with me. Let's go.
he's my assistant.
He was like, well, this is the best. I love Las Vegas. I'm like, yeah, well, the strip is fun, but, take one block off it and it's disgusting. So
I don't like touching anything when I'm there.
Yeah,
Like,
right. Yeah.
That's how I feel. Shout out to
Yeah.
Las Vegas.
Yeah, right.
So that's interesting. So your experience then growing up, like you grew up around a business-minded man. Now he's teaching entrepreneurship. I don't know what you're teaching over there at Augsburg, but
Yeah.
I assume it's somewhere in the business realm.
Oh, this is gonna be
maybe
funny.
you're the professor.
Really? Yeah.
It's not?
No. I
Even more
teach.
interesting.
Yeah. I mean, my master's degree is in mental health, so I teach about mental health.
This is amazing.
But
the
what's
alignment here is fascinating.
Interesting. We've had a lot of conversations over the years about how these things intersect. And also, I mean, there's so much health tech stuff going on. I mean, these things exist not separately, right? And so we've had a lot of conversations about that over the years, especially about ethics, how these things show up. I know that you just started, or at St. Thomas, they have AI for the common good.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is a really interesting working group, it sounds like, that I, as, in the mental health space and in all kind of business spaces, as AI becomes more and more prevalent, right? That conversation, I mean, is super interesting, and it's been great to talk to you about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We might need to have you
yeah.
back on the Homegrown Hustle here in a planned format, if that's okay with you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would be happy to.
Yeah.
Yes,
So I
please.
just, So I'm a member of University of St. Thomas Institute for AI for the Common Good, which is basically St. Thomas's way of structuring, interactions with the community around, well, how do we have artificial intelligence applications and or, a world going forward that connects with people in a way that doesn't freak them out, which a lot of people are freaked out. So with that said, I also advise an AI company, and I'm part of an AI company called Attentio. Shout out to Grady
You didn't bring that up when
Grady and Lucas out in San Francisco raising money right now. We were just out there a few weeks ago. It's crazy right now.
How much
The
money are you trying to
environment.
raise?
$4 million. Yeah, on a
Any
valuation
investors
of
hit
10.
'em up?
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Taking offers.
Yeah,
Thank you.
kind of fundamental AI tech.
AI is, we could do we could create our own podcast and just talk about AI for probably the next forever. And it'd be a topic that there's always this level of wonder and question about like, what can it actually do? And like, how can we use that to help us? But then that fear of like, what if it goes too far?
Right. Yes.
So I think AI overall, we can dive down so many rabbit holes. I don't even know how that ties into what you do, but I thought you were a TikToker when you got here.
No. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could go into it a little bit, just the basis of it.
I think talking about your business a little bit might allow us to kind of tie in that whole conversation and just let it keep rolling.
Yeah, for sure. So basically my co-founder Will and I, shout out Will, he's not here, but we basically started an LLC probably about a year ago. We didn't really have an idea of what we wanted to do, to be honest. We just
Love that.
I know that's like
That's the best thing ever. Yeah.
we were just like,
I
we
just
wanna do
became a
something.
really big cheerleader.
What
for
are we
you.
doing? I don't know.
Yeah. We just got to get the paperwork, man.
Yeah, let's just file it and then figure something else out later. And so, probably for about 6 months there, we were just kind of like, messing around with random stuff. Like we were like, oh, maybe we could drop ship, or maybe we could start like a holding company. Just like
Literally no idea.
literally no idea what we wanted to do, and like no startup idea.
What was
nothing.
the name?
The name of the LLC is G&G Ventures. So my last name is Goodmanson. His last name is Getz. So G and then NG.
Wow, it's very creative.
Just
Totally.
any
messy.
venture you want.
Any venture, yeah. We were like, we don't know what we're doing.
It's not
but
going to just be one anyway. That's probably the conversation that it was.
Yeah, right. that was the dream. That's the dream. But eventually, we came up with this idea of, we started thinking about what were the biggest problems that entrepreneurs faced when starting a company, and not just necessarily entrepreneurs, but everybody else in the space. So like contributors, meaning people who want to work for a startup, or investors, angels, VCs. And kind of like Dr. Brad's annoyance thing, like what are some problems that we can kind of narrow this down to? And after some days and weeks of kind of brainstorming this topic, obviously there's not just like 3 or 4 problems that these people face, right? There's an immense amount of situations that arise that create different problems. So we were like, what if we created a SaaS platform that didn't necessarily solve specific problems for these individual groups of people, but they streamlined potential solutions. So kind of like a Swiss Army knife, right? If founders go onto the platform and they're like, hey, I want to have a better connectivity with investors. I'm in the health and wellness space. I'm raising, 100K pre-seed, whatever. Investors will see that. Let's say that they like the health and wellness space. Easy connection, kind of takes away that cold calling. And that's just like a very base MVP.
That part sucks.
Yeah.
Like, let's not just breeze over that.
Yeah.
The cold calling part sucks.
Yeah.
The process sucks even more because it takes forever.
Yeah, it does. And it's like, and it's constant. And I feel like you really have to be, if you're doing the cold calling, you really have to be used to people saying no to you. Like you can't be somebody that like is just like rolls over.
It's a personality type, right?
Yeah.
So, because people can have an idea like that, but they're not an extrovert where they're just like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to start calling people.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly kind of how, I got connected with.
That's how you got here today.
Yeah, today. Like I woke up this morning. I knew I was going to St. Thomas, but I had no idea I was going to be on a podcast, which I'm stoked about. So thank you, by the way, for.
Dude, this was a surprise to me, so
Yeah.
I'm cool.
Yeah.
I'm just glad you're not a TikToker.
Don't worry. I don't even have it installed. So no, but yeah, and then so like founders can also post opportunities to get people who actually are passionate about what they're building, like software engineers or marketers or whatever it may be. And I'm not going to obviously go in depth onto every single little thing that's on the platform or that's going to be on.
We're gonna have you back on too, bro.
That'd be a blast. But basically, the whole vision is. We really, really, really think that there's a lot of people out there that have very, very solid ideas. Like a lot of kids in the classroom today, great ideas. They're young, amazing freshmen in college, work well in groups. They're thinking about innovation in the right way, and especially like in the way the world's going. And a lot of those ideas don't get put into, there's no action taken on those ideas. And we think that we wanted to create the support system that kind of gave people that ability to be like, hey, let me take that next step and find this community of people that can help me.
Yeah.
Is that the gap? Is that why you think when a student doesn't take action on an idea or a passion that they have, is it because like where or who or like they got the what and maybe even the how, but like the mechanics of building a business and the finance that goes into that, and then if you got to build a team, now you're talking psychology and all that. Like,
right. Yeah.
It's like a blue ocean. Like where do you even go?
Yeah, I think so. The key word for me that you just said is building. And so, I mean, just because I'm an old guy now, so I'm 61, so I can talk this way, is, when I get to see students or people in a younger generation who I can point at and go, those people are building, and that is hard work. And the first step is don't think about it too much. Just create an LLC, take action. And that's what I bring to my class. I don't know if it's the right way to teach entrepreneurship. Nobody asks me. Nobody gives me a curriculum.
You're the professor here.
I'm the dude. So I'm like, first day, first class, we're building companies. And I mean it. We're going to push
just rip the
these
Band-Aid
things.
off.
We're going to push these businesses as close to reality as, I'm going to be
Is it a morning class?
It is.
This
It's
is their
brutal.
intro to St. Thomas.
For some of them, it was. This is your
That's
first class.
fascinating.
Is you get me, and like we're going. Yeah. So I don't know.
Which
I mean,
is the real world, though, right? Like
You
the
know.
whole structure that's created around education. It's like we're getting you ready for the real world and all these different things, and you got to go through these 18 years, and then there's 4 more, and then after that, you'll have it covered. Right?
Yeah,
So it's all
right.
this prep for like this next step, and then all of a sudden at the end, they're getting closer and closer to that next step. And if you have an idea like that and you're the right personality, you could potentially flip the switch and go have a business if you do the things. You have to
Right,
do the
yeah.
things.
And they just need, in a lot of cases, they just need to know, like they need to experience it physically. I want them not just to know it in their head, but I want them to, like they did today, to present.
Feel the pain.
Right. Feel the pain. Feel the, like, the groups that don't quite gel, the people who don't do stuff, other people do everything, blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's the way these things work. Like, that's not going to change. Right.
And you just, like, you don't even go to St. Thomas.
No.
You go to the University of Minnesota currently.
Yeah.
Did you skip any classes this morning?
I actually skipped my whole day class today.
Dang.
I mean, I have technically
It's worth it at
Love
this
that,
point.
love
Yeah, I walked last spring, so I only have like 1 or 2 classes, and they're kind of just to get like the degree type thing. They're not really.
You got to check a box.
Yeah, pretty much. And so I did let them know though that I was doing this interesting, not the podcast. 'Cause I didn't
For
know.
the record.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah,
Right.
Let the record show.
yeah, let the record show.
So-
I did clarify.
And did you reach out to him in like a strategic way? Like, Dr. Brad, okay, this is what he does over here? Or was it just like a big email that you just fired off to all the professors over there?
I mean, it wasn't even necessarily because he was a professor, to be honest. It was more of just like building out our outreach pipeline of individuals in the space that we thought were very educated on it and or could benefit from our website, or maybe there was potential synergies like between what we were doing. So
Trying to make some money.
yeah, I mean, everybody's trying to make some money, but I didn't know, like, my initial thing was not obviously to monetize Dr. Brad and I's relationship, but it was more of like, hey, this guy has been in this industry, in this space for years. I'm just starting out.
And you want to learn, and you're
Yes.
primed because you're actually still paying to learn
Correct.
right now. So that state of mind, unfortunately, people lose that.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm incredibly passionate about learning, a lot like yourself, and I think that's one of the things that's allowed me to like persevere through some of the struggles early on in business. But early on, ignorance is bliss, and you can accomplish a lot of stuff just because you don't know enough to know that it's out of play or
Right.
not the typical procedure. Like, kind of screw the procedure sometimes and like just make something
For
happen.
sure. Yeah.
And that kind of bullheadedness, it is what a lot of the best ideas that are out there, it's the reason why they never made it there, because they didn't have that to push them through it. So they gave up on whatever that idea was.
Right. Yeah. I mean, for some people, you're lucky is that you can't not do this kind of thing, or you've got that extra gear that it's like it has to go somewhere, right? So do something that is, again, something that builds, doesn't destroy, hopefully, and or is a healthy choice versus something that's unhealthy. So if you have that extra gear, you're going to be curious. You're just a person who's curious, who likes to learn. I mean, that's the The way I look at it is entrepreneurship is a great space for you to be in, because you're going to need that perseverance, that, just like, I just got to keep going here. That's who I am and what I am.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, like, if you had to kind of describe, like, how that generation of potentially the next entrepreneurs or business leaders is thinking, like the students, like they're coming in with TikTok and Instagram and all these different ideas about entrepreneurship and business. And I mean, maybe they even want to do TikTok as a business.
Sure.
That's a whole new thing. So like you're taking all these random beliefs about like what entrepreneurship is, and you direct them and try to accomplish, like, what's the core goal for you as a professor that you want to see them accomplish in the class that you have with them?
One of the core goals is really, again, to connect with reality. So whatever they're looking at as their core business, which usually starts as an annoyance, I say, just come to the class with things that, piss you off, that you hate, that are annoying, which I think they are kind of wondering what's going on the first day. I'm like, no, really, just tell me, like, what you find really just stupid, right? Come to class with that, and then we turn that into a business in the first 20 minutes, and teams are assigned, and it's like...
It can happen that fast.
Oh, yeah. And because it doesn't need to be thought out to, Simon's point is, like, it doesn't have to be a thought out business. It's going to change. Things are going to, let's just take action. I want to see it in the class.
And it sounds like with Simon, they're like, you and your partner Will were just like, we're going to be entrepreneurs, and you made that decision, and then you started to find the annoyance or the problem after the fact. So you were bought into the idea of, we're going to figure this out, which is the right mindset to have, by the way, in my opinion. In this room doesn't seem to really matter. Like, you're the professors here. My opinion is just, I'm the guy with the podcast at this point.
So you know what?
That's good.
Yeah, one of the things I teach in my class, we go through different types of knowledge, right? Because we're all converting knowledge into value. Bottom line, as entrepreneurs, that's what you do. You convert knowledge into value.
Did you come up with that? Or did that?
Maybe. I don't know. That's what I tell.
I love that.
Just simple, right? Knowledge and value. And there are different types of knowledge, right? There's scientific knowledge, right? I'm not a scientist. I'm not an expert scientist, right? There's technical knowledge. Techne is the Greek word for it. That would be more maybe a trade, right? Craftspeople, people who work on drywall, etc. I mean, that has levels of expertise that I will never understand. I'm not that guy. There's ethical knowledge. Yeah. There's something called metis, cunning intelligence, when you just see moments, you see opportunities, you take them. What else is there? And there's arete, or I call it excellence and virtue. It's like who you are as a person, what you want to be excellent. And we move that towards trying to make money with it, trying to create value with it. That's what we're doing. So when you say, like, the professors in the room, I don't think of myself as especially brilliant. I'm persistent. That allowed me to get a doctorate and to show up in the space like this. But I would never look at anybody else, I don't care who you are, from the standpoint of, like, hey, I'm a college professor. Like, that does not work for me. I'm from Northwestern Wisconsin.
Well, for the record, a lot of other people look at you like you're the professor.
That's true. Because, they do. I get that.
Like, I'm not going to let you discredit what you have accomplished, but I agree with you. Like, letting somebody tell you who you can or can't be, and like putting limitations on you, or a special title makes you somebody bigger than you really are.
Right.
It just sounds like you're a humble guy, and
it does give me, with that credential, it gives me a little space where someone does give me a little room and gives me something that maybe I've got to earn. But my choice then is to take that and go, okay, I'm going to be as helpful, decent, and help these people as much as possible, rather than a lot of other choices, right? So that's kind of the way to, it's what most people do, in my opinion. I mean, most people are decent.
At least Midwesterners.
Yeah, we're okay.
We're just
all right.
chill. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
chill.
yeah.
So what made you fire your business up then? Was it, I'm going to start an LLC and we're going to do something like Simon over
No,
here?
but I
Or did-
love Simon. That is just so amazing. I just love that commitment to the journey is so cool. But no, so I'm an academic, right? I was in grad school. I got very interested in the research about sauna and cold plunge as
Fascinating.
yeah, it's fascinating.
I've just been doing it for like a year. I don't even know like what.
well,
does
listen.
feel
I just
Yeah.
hear that it's
Don't
good,
get me-
feels good.
Matt,
I like
don't
it.
even get me started.
Well, we will
Yeah.
at some point.
But yeah, so basically I got really interested in that. I did tons of research. I designed a research study. I got approval through the university. I was talking to other PhDs across the country who look into this, both the psychological, physiological benefits, all of that stuff. Unfortunately, the study never happened, which was sad. But through the process, I learned so much about the practice, the ancientness of the ritual, the exploding market here in the US, also in the UK and EU, and it is just going insane.
what the heck? Like, where did this even come from?
Yeah.
It's been there forever, but
It's-
like all of a sudden,
Yeah, well, all of a
you know
sudden,
what it is, Simon?
I have no
it's
idea.
TikTok, bro.
It's TikTok. Is it you, Simon, on TikTok?
Yeah, I'm
He's like, stop
I'm a sauna
saying-
wellness.
Yeah.
I'm a sauna,
You have to
sauna
start a
salesman.
TikTok now, dude.
Dude, but anyway.
I don't know
Yeah.
if I can do that. but-
Yeah, that's how it started, right? I started going, I noticed my hair was dry. I noticed my skin was dry afterwards. I'm like, why isn't there something that exists for this? Like, I looked around.
It's annoying, right?
And it was annoying, yes. And I will say, he's told me my whole life. I'd be like, this super annoying thing. He'd be like, use it. And I'm like,
That's some Jedi stuff
yeah,
right there.
I'm like 18. I'm like, oh my gosh. Now I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah.
What was it like when you were like 10 and he's telling you that?
Oh yeah,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't know if
That-
he told me that when I was 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
Sierra.
It'd be like, Sierra, is your last name Cantum or Can?
Yeah, that's what he would
Can.
say. Yeah.
Can. I
Yeah.
know, obnoxious dad.
And he would be like,
Yeah.
you
Oh, that's
can't.
absolute
Yeah.
gold.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wish. I don't.
You wanna change your
I have
name?
4 kids, and
Yeah.
I've got an 8-year-old who's like very stubborn-headed. If my last name was that, it'd be easier to deliver that
yeah, well then they
Message.
just,
that
yeah,
message,
the
like that
message,
lesson.
yeah.
Maybe like he'd be more bought in because like it's his name.
It's
Yeah,
his name. What are you
but
gonna do?
genuinely, you said that to me all the time, and I am like, at the time, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so whatever. But as I've gotten older, there's some, I don't know if it was that specifically, but there's something about it where I got the kind of semi-delusional belief of why not me? Why can't I?
I call that
we go.
gaslighting for success.
Yeah. Why
I
can't
like
I
it. I
try?
like it.
Why not me? What what's getting in the way? Why can't I take a risk and do this thing? Why can't I start the LLC?
Started to believe in yourself and your
why
capabilities.
not?
And all
Yeah,
that.
let me try it. Like I think it's really important, and maybe thinking about the students, right? Of like, why not you guys? The people. If you get to these crazy, the Elon Musks of the world and all of that stuff, it's like, he's done all this, but he's a guy.
That guy's day is weird though. Like I
Yeah.
don't want to have a day like that. I don't even know what he does, but it's probably not how I want to run my day.
Like
No.
8 ex-wives or something. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, but like it's just like to say like, why not you? Why not you to be able to build something? Why couldn't you go be in that room? Why couldn't you make that pitch? Why couldn't you dream up an idea? Why not? Like you could do it. And so
Love
thanks.
You, love you
Yeah,
too, baby.
Yeah.
I think that maybe one of the things
So
that
a single
annoyances.
tear just
I
came
know
from that.
one of the annoyances for me is seeing young people or students who don't have that. It's like
the world's hard.
World's
People,
hard.
like
It
the
is hard.
limitations get put there, and they almost gotta get beat out of
It makes
you.
me mad. I mean, it truly does. I'm like, because you kind
Is
of
this
pick
your
up
father mad right
on
now?
students
Yeah.
where you kind of see like, oh man, they don't believe in themselves. They haven't had some of that, and that should not be the way it is. It should not be the way it is, and I don't like it.
It shouldn't. I don't like it either. But I mean, I see that in the workforce. We're bringing in young kids. They're usually not university trained, coming in to do pest and wildlife control. But so through that, we're learning about like this younger generation, and a lot of them don't have like the typical family structure, and then the mentorship and guidance that is kind of built in along the way. So there's like kind of like this lost sheep type of vibe where all of these things are being imposed on you without somebody
Right.
that has intent to help you like decipher it and like to really decide who you are, if that makes sense.
It does.
So when they're coming in and they're looking for a place to create a career in the future, the mentorship or the guidance is really a lot of what they're looking for, even if they can't like put the finger on that. They want somebody to like come alongside them and like help them go through some of those lessons, you know, because we're a fast growing company. And if these guys are going to come grow with us, they got to grow up as individuals, right? Otherwise, you can stay in that role, but that's not going to be as fun as growing with us.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I love that. It's part of your
So-
culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why people get excited about coming to work in the pest control industry.
Yeah.
It's weird when they tell their parents most times. My parents were so disappointed. I went to Hamlin, another MIAC school, and then I like literally went into pest control out of that. Like I was actually doing it while I was still at school, and they're like, this kid's lost. Like he just spent all this money. And I say that kind of in jest, but they didn't see what I saw, and they didn't have the belief in myself that I had, and the bullheadedness a little bit to just know I was going to have success, even though I don't know the mechanics or the steps necessarily. I've figured enough stuff out to this point. I'm going to figure this out too. And I wish my degree like correlated a little bit
What's
with
your
it.
degree?
It's a biology and exercise sports science. I was
Well, you know.
I didn't take a single business
Why
course
not?
though. I wish I would have like mixed in some type of like, I don't know, finance, like the stuff
Accounting.
that's in every business. Like
Sure.
a lot of the things people are studying for are to go be plugins to businesses and help support business out there. Like not a history professor or
Right.
something like that, but
But I'll just offer that, business and entrepreneurship are, I think about business like cold hard business. You're going through a business program at, I don't know, St. Thomas or some other school. Sometimes it's a little bit like, putting a jigsaw puzzle together. If I just have this piece, I put it in here, I'll eventually get to this picture. And entrepreneurship is more like the crazy quilt, right? Is you just grabbing stuff and you don't know what this quilt's going to look like at the end of the day, but you're just kind of putting stuff together. So some of those business classes are helpful, but it's really more designed for somebody who's maybe going into a bigger business rather than someone who's open-minded, is able to, improv their way forward, just grabbing stuff, making things work. It's got that, creative juice or that extra piece and that's
is
the
there
one way to
is there
think
an
about it.
entrepreneurship school at St. Thomas? That's a thing, like the school of entrepreneurship?
Yeah, there is a department of entrepreneurship in the business college, and the entire University of St. Thomas is focused on what they call entrepreneurial thinking.
I mean, probably before they even like created that department, based off of the track record of some of the companies that have been started by alumni of St.
Yeah,
Thomas, like
Love
there's
Your Melon.
some of the Love Your Melon. I
Yeah.
mean, pretty sure Best Buy. So
Yeah,
from Best Buy.
Schultz.
There's a couple of them, and they're not just like little businesses like mine. They're like everybody knows of us. So, but what you're talking about, like that, it's like the beginning part. Like who's the one that's going to push it to the point where any of the rest of that is even possible, where somebody can come in and work as a business analyst or work in the HR department. Like the resources that are there now, and sounds like a full degree almost around it, do you see that like setting them up for more success? Like if somebody goes through that, do you think that this is kind of like a loaded question for you, honestly, but
Man, go for it.
I would guess that they're not just building something because there's enough consumers out there that want to major in this and we're going to create a degree for it. Rather, they're trying to actually set up for success and build like a runway to get there, right? that's what the whole purpose of that department is? Or what,
Yeah,
like,
I mean-
is there like an ethos that's there? Because I'm really intrigued.
The part of the ethos is because it is a university informed by, Catholic kind of principles of common good, is, I think, well wedded to the way we in the Midwest often think about our businesses, which is, yes, I need to know things about business. That's helpful. So there's master's programs. There's a bunch of master's programs, MBAs. I've taught in some of the master's programs in business, as well as at the undergraduate level that are business related. There's mentorship programs in entrepreneurship that I do. I do mentor, which aren't even to college students. They're just to community who want to grow businesses but don't know what they're doing. And it's literally
That's
almost
super
free.
cool.
And there's also, I could tell you, scoop of news is that they're putting together programs for people in the trades who are
That's a
going through the
huge one.
same, what you ran into is they're very good at that particular technical and that craft piece, but they don't have a deep business.
The scaling after that, like,
So that's happening also. Yeah,
My
which I
assu-
think is brilliant.
my assumption is once you go through the entrepreneurship program, like if somebody does that, like if I were finishing my career at Hamlin and had gone through that, I probably would have got funding to grow a massive pest control company rather than like you, because I would have had the mechanics and the understanding of what would have to even happen. I didn't even know that you can grow a company like that until a few years ago.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I do.
Like the bankroll and the access to that and the understanding of what the financiers or the banks want to see to validate the investment. Like the idea is great and it's fun or whatever, but there has to be some numbers behind it that are validated.
Right.
And that for me was like one of the bigger jumps I made in my understanding for what's going to be necessary to grow, right? Because
Right.
if you don't have money, it's hard to keep investing in the growth.
Yeah. So partly, the basic entrepreneurial concept is it an idea or isn't it an opportunity that you can execute on, right? And so some of the execution is, can I present a pro forma to, anticipated revenues and costs and all that to somebody who's going to give me money? Because that's what they want to see. They want to see that technical piece of business stuff that says, here's money in, here's money out, here's we're going to grow, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. And if you don't know that, that's, and you don't know that you don't know that, right?
Exactly.
So you get exposed to that in a college setting or in, whatever kind of setting.
Like that whole university experience, there's so much learning and like just people finding who they are. So it kind of creates this space where so much innovation and collaboration can happen so that big ideas can kind of spur from people just being in class together.
Yep.
And that's why I love that whole space, the energy around people's whose minds are like working and not just
You can be a celebrity judge here in my next session. Absolutely,
It's really fun. Yeah.
It is fun. It's so much fun. Yeah.
sign me up. So if the world ended today and you and I weren't going to be able to talk to any of the future generations, like what's one lesson you would want somebody to take away, like the future generations of business owners or entrepreneurs that you want to impart to them here today?
Well, I think it's based on what I really pushed at the entrepreneurjubilee.com, which
Shameless.
is, shameless. is,
This guy.
So why are we doing this business thing? It's, a common good, a thing that we all want is prosperity. So what is prosperity? It's what you have, right? What you're able to provide. If you want to buy Lamborghinis or you just want a nice life with your family or whatever it is. But also, who do you want to be? Who do you want to be as you're making your business happen? I use example, Eden Prairie. So, well, we could say, let's cut down all the trees in Eden Prairie and sell that wood and it'll reduce our taxes. Wouldn't that be great? Sure. Yeah. Then we have more stuff, right? But do we want to live in a place called Eden Prairie that has no trees? That's not who we want to be. That's
Yeah, it's a lot of trees. Too.
a lot of trees. What are you going to do with all that wood? But I mean, that would be my message is if you think about prosperity, think about it not just based on having stuff, but who you want to be, what your excellence, this is what I teach in class with the, fancy Greek words. What is your excellence, both internally as well as externally in the world? And that's what we're pursuing. That's what business should be about.
That's powerful.
Right
I like
on.
that.
Here we go.
So let's talk about your businesses now.
Okay.
Let's dive in. Let's pick them apart here, Dr.
Yeah.
Brad.
Okay, let's
All
go.
right.
Here we
Yeah.
go.
Now we're on the sharks.
So you had an idea
Yes.
based off of a problem or an annoyance. What were the steps that you took to go from that to that
To
cute
this
little bag
this
you've got
cute
there
little
on the
bag here.
table?
Yes, well, many. And so I also formed an LLC. I mean, all the logistics that have to happen are crazy. And I don't have any training in business. That's not what my degree is in. That's not what I studied in college. But it was this kind of persistent internal drive of, I can figure this out. I know I can figure this out. Or if I really can't figure it out, who can I ask for help, right? And that has been really helpful for me. But yeah, I mean, I just kind of step by step, right? And we're still figuring out, sometimes the stairs are invisible in front of you and you're like, what? And then for me, it really comes to trusting my intuition of, I know this market, I know this niche, I trust my expertise and my vision for what I have and what I feel like I can see. Even if, like you were saying, maybe other people can't see it. They're like, sauna cold plunge, yeah, I guess I've heard about that. It seems pretty big. I'm like, it's big. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
And people want to do this. They want to elevate the session. They want to put stuff in their hair. They want to feel a moment of
People
self-care.
got these weird hats. I don't even
They
know what
want
that's
to wear
for.
their fun
but
little hat. Yeah, they want
You
to.
just got 1,000 hats in, didn't you?
They are not sauna hats.
Another shameless plug.
But yes, but it was about that for me, right? I'm like, I believe in this so much. And for me, I mean, the kind of, going from the research and academic angle into the product angle, but really still keeping like my ethos and my central mission for the company rooted in the mental health training that I have. Like all of these threads have kind of come together for me, because one of the other things he passed along to me was this kind of insatiable need to be doing like 25 things. I'm like, oh yeah, let me try that. Let me do this. Let me do that. And seeing what sticks, what's sticking, right? This stuck. I've started other businesses. Like I was selling,
Oh, that's right.
I've sold.
Pick the Nightcrawler business up from your
Yeah, I said, hey, I like this thing. Let me just take my wagon around. But no, I mean, I've started other little businesses. I had Etsy, I did this. Remember I was doing like distressed vintage t-shirts,
Oh, yeah,
selling
yeah,
those,
yeah,
little
yeah.
things, whatever, here and there. And this stuck. And it's been a crazy thing.
You get you into Lifetime Fitness yet or no?
Lifetime, I am available. This is a message for you.
The corporate office is in Chanhassen.
Call
so-
me. I'll be there.
Right.
I'm going there after this. No. but yeah, it's been really great. But you're seeing this. I mean, I think it kind of ties in nicely with what you're talking about, this community-based, this desire that we're kind of seeing in the culture for connection, in real life experiences, being able to be with each other again in really authentic and genuine ways. And what does that look like? And how do we take those values and, find an opportunity in it, right? A lot of the...
Like purpose, right?
Yeah.
Like what's our purpose in all of that?
Yes, yeah. Is it really about, I just want to be, for me, not really about, I just want to be able to buy 25 Lamborghinis or something like that. That's not really who I want to be. So, yeah, I mean, that's just, all of that is really tied up in how this is growing and building and has framed the direction we're taking it.
And you're going online and you're going straight retail?
B2B, yeah. So retail, and we have like a website, shopstlucy.com. And thank you, Matt.
You need to throw your website in here.
Yeah, we can cut that out if you want. But so, yeah, I mean, that's what we do, right? We do direct to consumer and also B2B, you know, sponsor a few events and all kinds of stuff like that. So
Riding the sauna cold plunge wave.
yep.
Maybe you could do like a St. Lucy's serum / pest control /
I'll use it as a Trojan horse to sell
like,
portfolio.
we could do a
Like,
mash
that's-
right here.
You can.
Yeah.
Literally, I'll go there tomorrow with that, and I'll just walk into the front door and try to get to the right person.
You throw the,
Yeah.
the
I'm
dreads
dead
around
serious.
and go,
Are you gonna
I
leave that
use
here?
this
Is that for
every
me,
day."
Yeah.
or was that just?
No, it's for
I
you.
was gonna say
It's
like,
for you, yeah.
No gift.
No gift.
So-
It's for you.
For your business, I feel like you're seeing this like ecosystem and all the back end problems that you've been working with for years, and now you got this young guy who's got this idea. Like how do you see that plugging in and supporting all the investors and potential ideas that are in the future?
Well, I mean, I think it's a great idea. So I've also worked, I've done a lot of things, but a while ago,
We've covered that.
I worked for the state of Minnesota at the Department of Employment and Economic Development, and I was out in these, business development, economic development networks, and did all that kind of stuff. And there is the entrepreneurial space in most places pretty fragmented, right? And you've got competing interests because people want to get funding from so and so, and these different buckets. They're all trying to draw from the same bucket. Some of these agencies and independent groups and all this. So it is a fragmented space, and people fall through the cracks. People don't, know what's good or what's not so good. So when Simon was describing his business, I thought, oh, okay, this is kind of an online version. And I know Simon and I talked about some of this kind of social cohesion of actually, meeting people, getting to know and being part of the community. I think it's brilliant. And I also know some of the facts around what is happening in entrepreneurship. So, the percentage of entrepreneurs by age group continues to grow. It's anywhere between 30 and 50%, depending upon which age group you're in.
But
So
they're all growing?
They're
the
all
age
growing.
groups?
And it isn't because people necessarily want side hustles and or entrepreneurial things. It's because it's part of the economic condition we all live in, right? We're all subject to economic conditions where there's more precarity in full-time jobs. They don't last as long. People need to be more nimble, more entrepreneurial. So when I think about an ecosystem, I am interested in how do we strengthen conditions for this thing called prosperity for entrepreneurs by having strong networks, by having events, by connecting people and, enabling those conditions especially for you guys. I mean, my job at this point in some degree is to make room for other people, not just be fully invested in I want to go play golf now and retire. I'm not that guy. I do like seeing I can have a role, and this is part of the power that you acquire in your life, hopefully at some point, is to make choices to shove the system around a little bit. And if I can shove it around a little bit in a way that makes housing easier for 20 and 30-year-olds who are locked out of the housing market, to help the healthcare system and some of these things that are just locked up and not, this is why I called it a jubilee. Jubilees are resets in a society of conditions that are constraining people. Enslaved people are set free, debts are forgiven. This is the biblical version of Jubilee. I'm not,
You didn't bring that up when I asked you about it earlier.
And so it's I can do some of that. I have some of that power at this point in my life. I can push things around. I can make a Jubilee happen. I started a newspaper at Eden Prairie because I thought the truth matters, right? I can go teach because education matters. I can see those big clunky principles pretty clearly and go, I can make fundamental choices and I have power. I can push things that I think are important for this next generation. Because, I'm out here in a decade or two. We'll see.
Who's the uncle in Spider-Man? With great power comes great responsibility.
Uncle Ben.
It sounds like you're
Yeah.
taking that literally.
Yeah, I think so.
But you've also like earned where you're at. Damn, I wish we had like 2 more hours here. I know we're going over a little bit, but we got a little bit of time. I want to let you kind of leverage some of that power he was just talking about. We got a platform here. You got a new business. Rather than having to call a bunch more Dr. Brads and maybe not get such a cool guy, do you want to talk a little bit about who you're trying to talk to and how they can get a hold of you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think really anybody in the space that could benefit from a platform like this, like just that connectivity, whether you have a good idea or if you're a founder or if you want to work for a mission that you actually care about, or if you're looking to invest into startups. I mean, anybody that fits those 3 genres would be great to talk to. And then for me, as like a personal professional development and kind of back end developing the platform, really I like to talk to anybody in the space, because anybody, I know that's very vague, but everybody has a different experience, and with the problems that we're trying to streamline, there's not like one specific thing. So it's great to hear about everybody's different ideas. And like today we were watching a pitch and I was telling her about my platform and she was like, well, have you ever thought about, maybe doing like operational things for manufacturers? Like when they're like, like kind of like the back end, like, okay, what size bottle do I want to put it into? Like that kind of, just like those little interesting details. And so that's why I'm being so vague with it, because if this is going to be a tool that allows people with good ideas to scale those ideas, I want to know everything there is to know. And I want to talk to a bunch of different people. So, and I got very lucky. Dr. Brad is right now the best person I've talked to so far. No offense to anybody else that I've had conversations with, but like just in general, I'm saying like this is what produces from, just kind of like hustling. And like I feel like I was almost in a lull, like a no man's land of like, I'm doing these cold emails, I'm having calls with like startup consultants that like, I'm like, hey, there's people on our platform that could benefit from your services or, that kind of stuff. Like, and just from today and the conversations that I had with Dr. Brad last week to where we're at now sitting on this podcast just kind of goes to show like, if you keep hustling and keep having the conversation, and learning about the other person and kind of exploring how their interests and experiences might align with your own, different opportunities arise. So I would say if there's anybody listening to this that wants to connect with me, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, Simon Goodmanson, or shoot me an email at scalebite.co@gmail.com. So yeah,
I asked him for that plug, so that
Cool.
This is the most plugs out of any podcast we've
Really?
done, but I think that's
We're
good.
setting
I
a
like
record.
that.
I like.
You got a great product.
Thank you.
Do you want to talk a little bit of how people can learn more about your product and the benefits that it has?
Yes. So we do have a website. It's shopstlucie.com. Saint is spelled out Lucie, LUCIE.com. Same name for Instagram. You can find us there as well. Yeah, if you're into sauna, cold plunge, your hair's feeling dry, maybe you want to do a nice little face mask while you're in there. You want to elevate the experience. You want it to feel kind of more spa-like. That's what we're here for, right? So we have some fun merch too that we're launching more colors of soon. So yeah, thank you for allowing
pleasure.
us
This
to
is
be
great.
here.
Very
Yeah,
much.
appreciate it
There's
so
gonna be a
much.
bunch of beeps with all the the plugs and going.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're gonna tag that. We're gonna make a post just for that little clip,
Yeah.
probably. Because honestly, like that's part of why we've created this, is to talk about businesses and people that have stories behind those businesses. So not only can they promote the business and what they've done and maybe like build their ego up a little bit, but also like create a platform where people can talk about it. Because you got to do stuff, and as easy as social media is, a lot of people have a big gap with the creativity there, and sometimes it just takes like somebody helping them get there to be able to have a massive impact in their business or meet the right person because they heard a podcast, right? Like it's the little connections, and technology allows us to really like make the world smaller. It makes those outreaches easier, makes those interactions easier. Like I've got a business partner right now with the product we're trying to bring to market. I knew him for 7 years before ever meeting him in person. And then once we met in person is when the business happened. But regardless, like without Facebook and without technology, the world's a very different place. So acceleration of business and AI and all these things, like there's a lot of new novel ideas and concepts and annoyances that are going to come up, that there's new products that are going to hit the market. And if we can talk about those here first, like really, I love learning about new stuff. So this is fun for me. I don't know, might seem like work for other people, but I like this. And being able to talk about those perspectives and the ideas and the purpose behind it, that really is the fuel to the fire that keeps people going. Like that gets me excited. And if it gets me excited, maybe we can pass some of that through in a piece of content that can kind of keep that fire going and pass it along. So we're not stopping anytime soon. I'd love to have you back on and talk more about a few things. But thank you all for joining. Really appreciate you coming on the Homegrown Hustle today. Dr. Brad, I'm excited to come visit your class. And hopefully we got some good pitches.
You do a great job here, man. This is great. You did a great job.
I'm just winging it. Thank you. Thank both of you for coming here and like not just sitting in the corner like you were planning. So that's good.
Thank you.
Excited to see about what the future has for you all. So thanks for all the interactions we're having, likes, shares, and subscriptions, whichever platform that is for you. And we just appreciate the support. If you got questions or somebody you'd like to have us reach out to and have them come on, feel free to send that our way also. But until next time, keep hustling. Before we wrapped, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to our guests, Dr. Brad Canham, Sierra Canham, and Simon Goodmanson. Thank you for bringing so much insight, authenticity, and passion to this episode. From redefining entrepreneurship in the classroom to launching St. Lucy's Serum to building a startup that connects founders and investors, this conversation was loaded with inspiration. If you felt the same spark, share this with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, success isn't just what you build, it's about who you become while you're building it. Thank you for tuning into the Homegrown Hustle. We'll see you next time.